Hey ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? Randy here with rtsmobile.com. Today we're going to play, let me move my head up here. Today we're going to play a little bit of Lineage 2 Revolution and give you the basics you need to, there's a bird on my head, to be the top #1 Slayer. Come on stupid, come over here. This is for PVE DPS, like your boss fights, elite killing, really any kind of PVE player versus environment type fighting in Lineage 2 Revolution. This is my Slayer. Let me move my head down a little bit here. Here's my face. Here we go. Alright. I'll just show you what I got going on here. Alright. So this is not my PvE gear just yet, but I'll show you that in a second. This is my Slayer. Come on, bird. Stop chewing on my mouse. This is my Slayer. We're in Kuma 4, 391,000 CP. You can see my gear is pretty decent. It's not super dope or nothing, but it's pretty decent. Bird, get out of here, bird. Stupid freaking thing. Come here. Come on. Alright. Alright, as long as she's not chewing on my keyboard. So, yep. This is my Slayer. This is my PvP setup. We're going to go ahead and swap over one or two items here and get into the PvE mode. Okay. So the first things that I want to talk about in this video are going to be the gear that you want to use, okay? Now you'll see a lot of people using the weapon I'm using right now as a Slayer, which is this PvP weapon. And I'll show you why they're using it. You can see here you deal a total of, I've enhanced this once. I do 14.5% bonus damage to all of my PvP opponents. I have my PvP statistics here on my HP drain, my physical attack, my penetration. Okay? You're going to want different stats on your equipment for your PvE. So there's two types of, well, there's really three other types of PvE weapons. We're only going to talk about two of them today. The first type is for killing elites. Okay, and this is the two-hander for killing elites. It's the Scorpion. You can see up here you get 40% bonus damage to elite monsters. That's just your base. You can enhance that as well and get that all the way up to 80 or 120. I think it goes up to 80. I don't remember. You can see different stats for the elites than I have for my bosses. I'm just touching on the elites really quick here. You can see some armor pieces here. Blue Wolf armor, minus damage taken from elites. The stats are a little bit lower than the PvP set. PvP set does have a little bit higher stats, so you may actually want to use a PvP armor when fighting elites. When you're fighting bosses, you definitely want to be using the boss armor here. You can see my boss set isn't really fully beefed out yet, but the Nightmare set is for bosses, and the Blue Wolf set is for elites. So altogether, if you put on your basic 4 pieces of elite armor, you get minus 20% damage taken from elites, which can really help if you're solo grinding at night. I usually wear 2 pieces, mainly because I haven't found the elite pieces for the PvP yet. So the Blue Wolf plus the Scorpion is for elites. So when I go elite farming, I'll wear my Blue Wolf set and I wear my Scorpion. When I do boss fights with my clan here, my premier clan here, I use my Great Axe. You can see up here, up top, it does give me significantly lower combat power and attack than my currently equipped PvP weapon. And we'll pull them up side by side here. So I want to show you that, but I also want to show you why this Great Axe is actually better than this Exidium. Some people just see that combat power and that attack power and they immediately think, oh, well, this is better. I got news for you guys. You're wrong. This is a level 32 weapon, plus 13 versus level 30 plus 12. So if they were both level 32, it would be a little more evenly matched. But even with this large gap, I have enhanced this attribute a couple of times here. I get 64% bonus damage dealt to bosses. Extremely key, extremely important. Okay, you definitely want to use your Great Axe over your PvP gear. Don't be lazy. You want to use your Great Axe, and you want to use your Nightmare gear set. Okay, your Nightmare Grasp SR set is going to give you lots of nice bonuses. It's also going to give you minus damage taken from bosses, which is really important because a lot of these bosses do AoE, and if you have any lag on your internet connection with your phone which is fairly common. You may get hit by their AoE, you may get wiped out. It's definitely important to have your Nightmare set ready to go. I'm currently working on building my Nightmare set. It's taken a while here. Taking me about a month and a half to get all these couple pieces here. And I'm slowly building my Nightmare set. You can see level 4, I just got this the other day. I'm leveling my other Nightmare pieces up to get my Nightmare set completed. And I do have my, of course I do have my Blue Wolf set completed. Okay. So the jewelry, as far as PvE goes, jewelry is kind of you know, up to you what you want to select. Each different set has a couple different unique things. I like this set because it slow resist for the Phoenix set. Slow resist. There was also some sets that decrease crit, and hang on, let's pull out see what other sets I have available here. You can see the Black Ore set, crit resistance. I don't really need crit resistance versus bosses. Okay. Your Moonstone set gives me magic defense, which is definitely useful, but plus 50 is doesn't do much when you have, you know, thousands and thousands. I like the slow resist because a lot of the boss attacks slow. Another great set, which I actually really want to build, is the Nassin set. Nassin gives you a speed bonus, which is enormous. You can get a couple % increased movement speed, which is really great for boss fights. I recommend the slow resist, which is the Phoenix set, or the Nassin set for your PvE. Oops. Your Nassin set for the PvE. Okay. Now let's talk about attribute prioritization. Let me equip let me put my weapon on here. My boss weapon, might as well equip it if that's what we're talking about. I want you to see that my boss weapon, I do have different priorities than my PvP weapon. Okay, your boss weapon, your strongest stat really is going to be your attack speed increase. You want attack speed increase substats here. These substats, you want attack speed increase. Number 1, you definitely want accuracy. And then, you know what, the physical attack obviously is going to enhance your overall attack, but there are other useful stats. You may decide to go with crit or crit chance. Those are both great stats in PvE. I tend to stay away from the crit chance a little bit. I gear more towards just getting a lot of white hits in, and a lot of white hits means a lot of auto attacks. So for PvE, your biggest damage dealer is going to be your auto attacks. So you want attack speed, and as a Slayer, you get your little bloodlust talent, very important. Bird, stop eating everything. Come here. All right, you're just biting everything. So yeah, you want your auto attacks to be your main damage dealer, okay? So you want attack speed on all of your gear. Physical attack, like I said, you can kind of swap that out for crit. It's up to you. It's your choice, but you definitely want attack speed and accuracy. And I'm just staying away from the crit altogether with my PvE build, and it's turning out great. I mean, I'm beating people with 100,000 CP or more, and it really feels great. So on your gear, you can get the same thing. You can see my PvP gear. That's not a good example. My gear right now is kind of more towards PvP, the substats. I just haven't been able to finish my Nightmare set yet. So once my Nightmare set here is done, I will roll all the stats for PvE. Okay. But my PvP set, obviously you can see lots of attack. And on your boots you can get attack speed, by the way, so make sure you get the attack speed on your boots. Alright. I'm trying to get HP regen, HP percent, and accuracy on all my gear. You can get movement speed on your earrings, okay, as well as attack speed. Yeah, there we go. Alright. Well, that's your stat prioritization. Let's talk about skills. So remember, you want your attack speed because your white attacks are your biggest damage dealers, so you're going to want that first. That's your highest priority for your substats. The next thing you want to get is your accuracy to make sure you hit everybody. Okay, and then you also want lots of physical attack as well. Movement speed helps a lot. Definitely keep that in mind. Obviously, there are, 15, 20 different substats, so definitely try and land accuracy and attack speed as your main two on all of your PvE pieces. And third one, it's pretty hard to roll 3 good stats on one piece of gear without spending money. So you may be better off just getting 2 of them and hoping you don't get something useless like magic attack for your third stat. So now let's go to the skills. For PvE, you want mobility. Okay, same thing as PvP. You want mobility, but for PvE you want mobility, and you want damage. So rush impact is fantastic. Every 18 seconds, I can basically leap across the map like this. It's phenomenal. I can just go boop, displaces, does a good amount of damage. I guess we'll kill this guy real quick. Alright, so you want rush attack, you want your leap attack, which is another displacement, and I'll tell you why. When you're fighting these bosses, like Flagon, or whatever that clan boss is, with the V, I'm bad with names. Let's see here. Clan Dungeon. Varkaron, there you go. Varkaron has lots of AoE. Queen Ant has lots of, she doesn't do like a massive radius AoE, she does lots of line stuns. Your boss starts to attack you with something, you want to be able to run away and then immediately leap back in and kill him. Get your maximum uptime that you're fighting in the fight. You do have some burst, so keep that in mind. So again, you want your 2 mobility skills here, which is your leap attack and your rush impact. Okay, and I have all of the skills that you want to have equipped right now, actually. So I got rush impact, I have leap attack, so I have 2 mobility. I have angry dwarf, which increases my overall attack by an enormous amount. Gives you 10,000 attack at level 18 here. It does decrease your defense a little bit, but as a dwarf, we do have that added HP, and we are wearing heavy armor, so we get a defense boost there. So you do take a little bit of a defense hit, but you gain an enormous amount of attack. Definitely prioritize using this when you know you're going to have a lot of uptime with your white hits. If the boss has just used his AoE shot and you just jump back in, that's a good time to pop that skill. Maximize your attacks. Sorry, I clicked out of that. Okay. Let's talk about your two the other skills, the legendary skills, whatever you call them, up here. I like to run with Missile Bolt and Healing Strike. I may switch Missile Bolt for Meteor once I unlock the Meteor. I have not done that yet, but hopefully I'll get that. Hopefully I'll get that soon. Get my Meteor Strike soon. It's an AoE stun because it's pretty good damage. The Missile Bolt is great for single target, but versus adds, you're definitely going to want some AoE damage in there. And you know what? You can use Forgotten Shield or Healing Strike. It's really up to you. Forgotten Shield is going to increase your defense, or sorry, Absolute Shield is going to increase your defense. Does a nice job there. If you want to pop your Absolute Shield and sit into some boss attacks and just wail on the boss for a minute or two, you know what? If you have a little bit of lifesteal, maybe you might be able to do that. Healing Strike is similar. If you get a little bit of lag, you get nailed by something, and you want that quick 10,000 heal and your health pot's down, Healing Strike is definitely pretty useful. There really isn't a PvE specific Forgotten Scroll skill, but that's alright. So I'll keep this short and sweet, ladies and gentlemen. Those are the basics. I'll go over them real quick one last time. Your PvE gear, you want to be using the two-handed Great Axe, okay? You can see it gives you enormous bonus to bosses. You want to be wearing the Nightmare set, which I haven't finished acquiring yet in SR. You want the Nightmare set. It gives you minus damage taken against bosses. Extremely valuable. So with just the basic attribute protection level 1 on all 4 pieces, you'll have 20% damage reduction. Absolutely key, okay? You want to run your Nightmare set. And you could probably swap out 2 pieces of your Nightmare set if you like for some of this PvP gear. If you have it leveled up, it is going to have a little bit higher stats. Let's just see this PvP gear versus... that's not a good comparison. Well, my level 30 plus 11 against a level 6 plus 8, it's about half the strength. Probably about 15-20% stronger gear overall. But since it doesn't give you attack power here, it just gives you physical and magic armor as well as mana power for your helm. It may not be a bad idea to rock the Nightmare Helm instead, because it will give you that 5% damage, 5% less damage taken. So unless you feel you're going to be getting 5% more armor from your gear, which you may if it's fully leveled up, definitely use the PvE pieces. Jewelry, we talked about using the Phoenix set, because the Phoenix gives you slow resist rate. We also talked about the Nascent set, because Nascent gives you speed. Okay, the other sets are more geared towards PvP and are not really needed for PvE. Alright, our skill priorities. Oh, sorry, let's talk about the gear priorities real quick. The substat priorities we talked about. As you can see here, I go for accuracy, or attack speed is my first, accuracy is my second, and physical attack stat is my third. I will roll my Nightmare set to have these substats, and then also you can get movement speed on a couple pieces like your necklace and your earrings and your boots. So definitely get movement speed and attack speed as much as you can. You can also get attack speed on your boots. Alright, and now back to the skills. What do you want, bird? Back to the skills here. If I can close this sucker. Where's my skills? Alright, and the skills, you want to have your movement skills. So you want rush impact and leap attack. You can swap out leap attack if you like, because it's kind of slow. I don't love it. You can probably swap that out for maybe power smash. Does really good damage, AoE damage, great for killing ads. I like power strike because it has a stun, also great for killing ads. Sometimes I'll swap that out there. And then Angry Dwarf is going to be one of your most important PvE skills. It's going to reduce your total defense, but give you a huge attack boost. And then your Forgotten Scroll skills, I'm just using Missile Bolt and Healing Strike. You can use Absolute Shield or really whatever you like. Okay, thanks for watching. Head over to rotsmobile.com and join today. Check out the cool free guides, leveling guide, Adena gaining guide, CP gaining guide, and all the other fun stuff we got over there. Thanks for watching, and have yourself a wonderful holiday and a happy new year. Do not drink and drive. All right. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. See you later.